So welcome back to Political Science class session number 2 today. So in the previous session, we discussed about the legislature and the election procedure to choose our representatives, elect our representatives. Okay, now this class we are going to start the discussion directly from your textbook. Okay, first of all, the question is, why do we need a parliament? Why do we need a parliament? So, legislature is not a merely a lawmaking body. It's not just a lawmaking body. Lawmaking is but one of the function of the legislature. So, legislature is not only a lawmaking body. So, lawmaking is just one function of the legislature. Underline. It is the center of all democratic political process. Okay. In a democratic country, legislature is considering as the center of all legislative, all democratic political process. It is packed with action, walkouts, protest, demonstration, unanimity, concern, and cooperation. Underline that all. Okay, so legislature is an organ of the government related with or packed with the activities of walkouts, protests, demonstrations, unanimity, concern, and cooperation. These many things are related with the legislature. We will discuss one by one. All these serve very vital purposes. So all these activities considering with important purposes. Indeed, a genuine democracy is inconceivable without a representative. So representatives are necessary in the legislature. So without the representatives, the legislature cannot perform properly. And efficient and effective legislature, the legislature also helps people in holding the representatives accountable. Okay, so legislature, it is accountable to the people, Okay, so this is indeed the very base of representative democracy. So accountability is considering as the most important factor of representative democracy. Okay, so the representatives or members of the legislature, they are accountable to the people. So the most important factor, okay, or important point of legislature. Okay, yet in the most democracies, legislatures are losing central place to the executive. Okay, so most of the democratic countries, they are giving importance for the executive than legislature. In India too, the cabinet initiates policies, sets the agenda for governance and carries them through. So India also we can see that executive means the cabinet ministers, the council of ministers, they are preparing the plans and programs for the administration. Okay, clear? And the function of the government is basically through the legislature, executive. This has led some critics to remark that parliament has declined. So the executive or the ministers or the council of ministers or the cabinet ministers have more powers to take decisions or create policies and programs. Some critics or the people, those who critically thinking, they says that the power of the parliament is declined because more powers are there with the executive, it seems. But even very strong cabinets must retain majority in the legislature. But you want to understand one thing there. Okay, majority is there for, executive is there, ministers are there, but the ministers' existence is related with the majority in the legislature, right? If that party don't have majority in the legislature, then ministers are no more ministers, right? Yes or no? Majority in the parliament, it is necessary. The legislature, it is necessary. Okay, but even very strong cabinet must retain majority in the legislature. A strong leader has to face a parliament and answer to the satisfaction of the parliament. So whoever it is, okay, the prime minister, if it's a strong prime minister or a strong leader of the executive, also want to give answers to the question of the legislature, right? He or she is accountable to the legislature. Okay, it is recognized as one of the most democratic and open form of debate. So legislature is considering as the most open form of debate on account of its composition. It is the most representative of all organs of government. So legislature is considering as the most representative of all forms of government, all organs, all other organs of the government. It is above all vested with the power to choose and dismiss the government. So legislature have another power to, what is that? To choose and dismiss a government. Okay, so underline all those things and write there what are the powers of legislature. Powers of a legislature. Okay. What makes legislature powerful than executive? Another question, same answer. What makes legislature powerful than the executive? Next one. Here on activities there, we will do that later. Next one. Why do we need two houses of parliament? So parliament, we know that it's a governing body, right? Yes or no? So without the parliament, there is no existence for the government. So it is important. So next question. So answer is there for these questions in this textbook itself. So want to understand the question and its answer. First of all, we got the answer for the question. What is that? Why do we need a parliament? In that, we got a sub question also. Okay. How the legislature is powerful, or why the legislature is powerful than the executive, or what makes the legislature powerful than the executive. Next question, why do we need two houses of parliament? What the importance here? The term parliament refers to the national legislature. The legislature of the state is described as state legislature. So national legislature is there for the central government. Next, legislative councils are there for, or legislative houses are there for the state also. That is basically considering at the state legislature. Okay, central one, and states are there within the country. So for all these states, what kind of governments are there? State legislatures are there. For central government, one legislature, and for the states, different state legislatures. The parliament in India has two houses. When there are two houses of the legislature, it is called a bicameral legislature. Underline. If there are two houses are there for the legislature, we can call it a bicameral legislature. Bicameral legislature. Okay. The two houses of the Indian parliament are the Council of States or the Rajya Sabha. Underline that. Okay. So the two houses of the Indian parliament are, first, the Council of States, or other name it is Rajya Sabha. Underline, the Council of the States and Rajya Sabha, and the House of the People or Lok Sabha. House of the People or Lok Sabha. These are the two houses of Indian Parliament. Council of the States, that is termed as the Rajya Sabha or House of Vicemen. Next one, the House of People or Lok Sabha. Okay, House of People or the Lok Sabha. Clear? The Constitution has given the states the option to establish either a unicameral or bicameral legislature. Clear? So states in India have separate powers. Okay, they can keep a unicameral legislature with a single house, or a bicameral legislature with two houses. Clear? So Kerala following unicameral or bicameral? Tell me. Kerala government following unicameral, because only one house is there, right? Okay, we will call the members of unicameral legislature as MLA, member of legislative assembly. Member of a legislative assembly. Unicameral is there, means one more group of representatives are there. That's termed as MLC, member of legislative council. Clear? Member of a legislative council. Okay, some states are there, they are following this system. There MLCs are there, and MLA also. MLS also. MLS also are there in such states. The states are following a bicameral legislative system. Okay, underline. At present, only 5 states have bicameral legislature. How many? Only 5 states have a bicameral legislature. In your textbook, it is 5 or 7?
7.
7. Okay, so go for 7 there. Okay, so 7 is the new book there. So you can write 7 there. So 7 states have a bicameral legislature. Okay. So you can see here the states with the bicameral legislature: Bihar, Jammu and Kashmir, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and 2 more are there. Clear? You want to find it out? Okay, it's an activity for you people. So I will give you some clues there. One clue. Okay, one clue is here. Second clue is here. Okay, so find out. Two clues are there. Clear? Okay, so map is there in your textbook alone. So countries with a large size, much and much diversity usually prefer to have two houses of the national legislature or give. Oh, 1 minute. Hello. Okay, so come back. So we discussed about a unicameral legislature and a bicameral legislature. So only one house is there for the legislature. We will call it a unicameral one. Two houses are there, means it's a bicameral legislature. So countries with the largest size and much diversity usually prefer to have two houses. Okay, underline. So countries with large size and much diversity usually prefer to have two houses of the national legislature to give representation to all sections in the society. So big countries, the countries with a huge area, large area, obviously we know that they required a number of representatives to solve the problems of the people there, basically. So all sections in the society, and to give a representation to all geographical regions of or part of the country. Next one, a bicameral legislature has one more advantage. A bicameral legislature make it possible to have every decision reconsidered. Underline. So write down the question. What is a bicameral legislature and what are the importance of a bicameral legislature? Write the question. Okay, bicameral legislature. So importance, every decision taken by one house goes to the other house for its decision. So always reconsideration will be there. We know that one bill, it will discuss in the Lok Sabha. Later, it will send it to Rajya Sabha for a further discussion. So, 2 times they will observe and reconsidering that particular bill to take decision. Okay, so it is important. Okay, it is good to discuss one bill in two times. Okay, this means that every bill and policy would be discussed twice. This ensures a double check on every matter. Even if one house takes a decision in haste, and decision will come for discussion in other house and consideration will be possible. So one house taking the decision with a wrong mentality or they're showing a wrong attitude, the next house will recheck it and they can think about a recheck, or it will go send back to a reconsideration to the first house. Okay, so we are going to discuss about two houses today. One is the Rajya Sabha and the other is a Lok Sabha in India. So now we understood about we discuss about what is the need of parliament here. Okay, what is the need of these two houses? Okay, clear. What is the unicameral system and what is a bicameral system of legislature? Okay, now here it is Rajya Sabha, the house of the states in India. So each of two houses of parliament has different bases of representation. So we already know that one is first past the post. Okay. Next one is PR, proportional representation. Two systems we are using. Okay. So for Rajya Sabha, basically it is what PR system, proportional representation. The Rajya Sabha represents the states of India. It is an indirectly elected body. Okay. Underline that. Indirectly elected body of representatives. So residents of state elect members to state legislative assembly. The elected members of the state legislative assembly in turn elect the members of Rajya Sabha. So for example, come to state of Kerala, here 140 MLAs are there. Okay. Okay, people elected these MLAs from different constituencies in Kerala. Different constituencies in Kerala, right? Okay. And these MLAs, already they are elected by the people through first past the post system. Okay, direct election. Later, these MLAs will elect these MPs for Rajya Sabha through a system called PR, that is indirect election, proportional representation. Clear? So this is a method to elect members to the Rajya Sabha. We can imagine two different principles of representation in the second chamber. One way is to give equal representation to all the parts of the country, irrespective of the size or population. Underline that. So there are two methods are there to give representation for the members in the Rajya Sabha. One is equal position or equal representation to all the part of the country, irrespective of their size of population. We may call this as a symmetrical representation, giving equal chance for everyone. So for example, so this is considering as a country, we are dividing into 4 parts. Okay, so giving one from A, next one from B, one from C, one from D. So equal participation is there. It's called to be symmetrical representation. Symmetrical representation. Instead of that, okay, different areas but different participation. It is not symmetrical, asymmetrical, right? Okay, that method also is there related with the population. We are going to discuss that. Okay, one way is to give equal representation to all the part of the country, irrespective of their size or population. We may call this a symmetrical representation. On the other hand, parts of the country may be given representation according to their population. Next method. Okay, according to population, we will choose the representatives to the parliament. I mean, the Rajya Sabha. This second method means that regions or parts having larger population would have more representation in the second chamber than regions have a less population. Clear? Understand? Okay. That's what I told that related with Uttar Pradesh and Sikkim. Okay. Here it is. In USA, United States of America, every state has equal representation in the Senate, the parliament. Okay. This ensures equality of all the states. Clear? So symmetrical one it is. America following a symmetrical one, giving equal representation for all the states. But this also means that a small state would have the same representation as the larger state. One problem is there. Small states also will get the same number of representatives as of the larger states. The system of representation adopted for Rajya Sabha is different from that of USA. The number of members to be elected from each state has been fixed by the 4th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Perfectly mentioned. The number of representatives from different states, it is perfectly mentioned in the 4th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Okay, what would happen if we were follow the American system of equality of representation in the Rajya Sabha? It is not possible in India because our population is too high. Okay, so for example here, Uttar Pradesh with the population of nearly 20 crore people would get seats equal to the Sikkim whose population is nearly 6 lakh. Difference is there. So Uttar Pradesh for 20 crore 10 members, for 6 lakh also 10 members means it is not a good, it is not justiciable, cannot justify that. We cannot justify that. Okay, so we are using another method. So related with the population, we are providing the seats for Rajya Sabha. The framers of the Constitution, it's not the framer. Okay, those who created the framers of the Indian Constitution wanted to prevent such discrepancy. States with a larger population get more representatives than states with smaller population get a. Okay, so always the Constitution is trying to solve the problem. It's already solved also how the participation or members of the Rajya Sabha to the or from the states is related with the population of the states. Okay, so already mentioned in the Constitution without any mistake or without creating any trouble there. Thus, a more populous state like Uttar Pradesh sends 31 members. So from Uttar Pradesh, 31 members are there for Rajya Sabha, while a smaller and a less populous state like Sikkim has 1 seat to Rajya Sabha. Sikkim, 1 seat, and from Uttar Pradesh it is 31 seats are there. 31 seats are there. So related with the population, it is nearly 20 crore. Then here it's nearly 6 lakh. Difference is there. Okay. Then also cannot match. But anyway, 1 member is needed from that particular state, right or not? Okay. So provided. Okay. While a smaller and less populous state like Sikkim has 1 seat in Rajya Sabha, members of Rajya Sabha are elected for a term of 6 years. Underline. Okay, tenure of Rajya Sabha, a period. Okay, they can get re-elected. The members of Rajya Sabha have chance to get re-elected also. All members of Rajya Sabha do not complete their terms at the same time. Okay, all the members of Rajya Sabha do not complete the tenure in the same period. I already told you that, right? Clear? So every 2 years, 1/3 members of the Rajya Sabha, one third, okay, 1/3 members. Example, 3 members are there. One member will resign or he will move out of the Sabha in every 2 year. Every 2 year, right? If it is 30, 10 members will move. If it is 300, 100 members will move out, right? Now, Rajya Sabha, I already told you that nearly 245 people are there. So, related with that, okay, I can say 1/3 of the members will resign or they will move out. So, every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha complete their term and elections are held for those 1/3 seats only. So, every 2 years, we are able to find the elections to Rajya Sabha. Every second year or once in 2 years, we are able to find the elections for the Rajya Sabha. Thus, Rajya Sabha is never fully dissolved. Underline. Rajya Sabha is never fully dissolved. So we can call it as a permanent house of the parliament. Underline. Permanent house of the parliament. Okay. The advantage of this arrangement is that even when Lok Sabha is dissolved and elections are yet to take place, the meeting of the Rajya Sabha can be called and urgent business can be conducted. Here, what is the advantage with this permanent house? The advantage of this arrangement is that even when Lok Sabha is dissolved, if there is no Lok Sabha and elections are yet to take place, okay, there is no Lok Sabha, elections also not took place, the meeting of the Rajya Sabha can be called and urgent business can be conducted. So, a meeting for the Rajya Sabha can be conducted and urgent decisions can take by the government. Clear? Apart from the elected members, Rajya Sabha also has 12 nominated members. Underline. Apart from the elected members through PR system, proportional representation, there are 12 nominated members are there in Rajya Sabha. The president nominates these members. These nominations are made from among those persons who have made their mark in the fields of literature, art, social service, science, etc., etc. Clear? Clear or not? So, 12 members are nominated by the President of India. President of India. So, write the question. Write a short note on the Rajya Sabha. Short note on the Rajya Sabha. Most important parts, what you underline, that is the answer for this question. Okay, write a short note on a Rajya Sabha and how it is function. That we are going to discuss. Okay, so just write a short note on Rajya Sabha. Next one, Rajya Sabha completed. We are going to the second house. It is the Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies are directly elected by the people. For the purpose of election, the entire country, the state, in case of state legislative assembly, right? For Lok Sabha, the entire country. Okay, election will declare for the entire country, and for the state legislature, only the state. Okay, within 4 months, we will experience that. We will observe it in state of Kerala. Election for the state legislature. Before 1 month, one election completed, right? Right, what is that? The election for the local self-government. Now, within 4 months, one more election is there in Kerala. That is the election for the state legislature. Next election, for the Lok Sabha, when it is. One completed in 2020, right? Now next election 2025 or 24. Okay, end of 2024, right? Okay, we are able to observe one more election. Clear. Next one, entire country is divided into territorial constituencies. So for conducting the election, the entire country will divide into territorial constituencies. I told you, imagine this is a country called India. Okay, anyway, India's map is not like this. It's a triangle, right? It's a square or rectangle. Okay, and dividing that almost related with the population of different regions. Okay, clear? So this division is termed as territorial constituencies. Clear? And the people will elect members from their constituency. If it is A, the people living in the constituency A will choose their representative. Okay, if it is D, the people from constituency D will choose their representative, right? If it is Z, the people from that constituency will choose the people, right or not? Yes or no? Clear or not? Okay, like that, the country will divide into several territorial constituencies. Okay, so different states will divide into different numbers. Okay, example Kerala, it is 20. UP, it is 4, sorry, 80. Tamil Nadu, it is 40. Okay, related with the size of the state and the population of the state, the government will, I mean, the election commission will divide the constituencies. Clear? This kind of division is termed as a territorial constituencies. Territorial constituency. So it is almost or roughly equal to the population. Roughly equal to the population. So just do that. 139 crore is the population. We have 543 seats. So more or less, how many members will be there in one constituency? Or what is the population of one constituency? More or less. Can we calculate that? We can calculate it, right? What is that? 139 crore divided by 543. The answer is, what is that? The more or less number of people in each constituency. Each constituency. Clear or not? Okay. So, but state deviations are there, variations between the states are there. So some changes also we are able to observe here. Okay. So the state of Himachal Pradesh, we know that the population is sparse population, right? Clear or not? So related with that, the constituencies are very large constituency. We are able to find that to meet that population. Okay. So Kerala, we know that the constituencies are so small, right? Yes or no? Because the what we can say, the number of people that more related to the size of the land. Okay, clear? It is basically termed as population pressure. Okay, clear or not? It is too high in Kerala. Okay, so one representative is selected from each constituency through universal adult suffrage, where the value of vote of every individual would be equal to another. So it is the policy termed as a universal adult franchise. As per that, one person, one vote, one value. What is that? One person, write down. One person, one vote, one value. That is the system of election and weight of votes. Okay. The one representative is selected from each constituency through universal adult suffrage when the value of vote of every individual would be equal to the other. Okay, at present there are 543 constituencies. This number has not changed since 1971. So from or since 1971, there are 543 members are there in the Indian legislature. That is the Lok Sabha. Okay, and plus 2 also is there. That is the members nominated from the Anglo-Indian community. Anglo-Indian community, right? That is nominated members. Okay, they are not elected. But here we can say they 543. They are elected members. Elected members. Clear? Okay. The Lok Sabha is elected for a period of 5 years. This is the maximum tenure. We have seen in the chapter on the executive that before the completion of 5 years, the Lok Sabha can be dissolved if no party or coalition can form the government, or if the Prime Minister advises the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha and hold a fresh election. Okay. So it is not compulsory, right? If the Prime Minister is unable to get the confidence of the members, the Parliament will dissolve, right? I mean, the government and the Parliament both will dissolve there. Next one, the Prime Minister says to the President that I don't have the majority in the Lok Sabha, so please dissolve the government. Again, next election will be there, right? So it is not compulsory. The 5 years is not a compulsory one, but the Prime Minister is proved that majority is there with him. So the maximum time it is 5 years. 5 years. Clear? So write a question there. Write a brief note about the Lok Sabha. Write a brief note on the Lok Sabha. Okay, next. What does the parliament do? What is the function of the legislature? Function of the legislature. It's a question, right? Underline that. Do both the houses of the parliament have similar functions? Another question. Is there a difference in the powers of the two houses? Next question. All are important questions. All these three are important questions there. Okay. Now we are going to find out the answer for that. Okay. So we know that apart from lawmaking, the parliament is engaged in many other functions. Let us list the functions of the parliament. Okay. So these are the functions of the parliament. First of all, the legislative function. Okay, controlling the executive. Third one, it is the financial function. Okay, here it is. First of all, the legislative function. The parliament enacts legislation for the country. Despite being the chief law making body, the parliament often merely approves legislation. The actual task of drafting the bill is performed by the bureaucracy under the supervision of minister concerned. The substance that even the timing of the bill are decided by the cabinet. No major bill is introduced in the parliament without the approval of the cabinet. Members other than ministers can also introduce bills, but these have no chance of being passed without the support of the government. Clear? So legislative function in the sense of a bill can discuss in the legislature. Okay, in the basically from the first house next to the second house. I mean, first they will discuss the bill in the Lok Sabha. Next it is in the Rajya Sabha. Clear? So who has the power to introduce the bill? The cabinet ministers or the ministers of the governing party. Clear or not? Even the individual members also can, or members from different parties also can suggest a bill or take a bill for discussion. Okay, but at the same time, the bill wanted to get support from the cabinet ministry. Then only it will become a law. Clear or not? Because the ruling party want to accept it, first of all. Clear? Next one, control of executive and ensuring its accountability. Perhaps the most vital function of the parliament is to ensure that the executive does not overstep its authority and remains responsible to the people who have elected them. We shall discuss this function in greater detail later in this chapter. We will discuss that. Okay, controlling the executive, controlling the executive. So far we stated that almost all the ministers, the prime ministers from the Lok Sabha, right? Is there any chances for the members from Rajya Sabha to become ministers? The chief minister? Is there any chance? Narendra Modi is an elected representative, right? Directly elected by the people, right or not? Okay. And he is the prime minister and he is from Lok Sabha. Is there any chances for the members of Rajya Sabha to become the prime minister of India? That's the question. Is there? Can they? Yes or no? Remember, the answer is yes. Okay, answer is yes. Okay, example, Dr. Manmohan Singh. Dr. Manmohan Singh, nearly 10 years he ruled our country. He was the former Prime Minister of India. 10 years he ruled, right? He was from the Rajya Sabha, not from the Lok Sabha, right? Clear or not? So, Rajya Sabha members also have the clear chance to become the Prime Minister with the support of the majority party in the Lok Sabha. Majority party in the Lok Sabha want to support. Without that support, he is unable to do that. Clear? Clear? Okay, just keep that idea in your mind. Okay. Next one, from Kerala, there are a number of ministers are there in Lok Sabha, you know? Okay. Example, one Mr. Muralidharan is a minister in the central ministry. Okay. But he is not elected by the people in Kerala, right or not? Right or not? Not elected. Okay. He nominated to the Rajya Sabha, right? Okay. And he became the minister there. Okay, there is no direct representation but indirect representation. Related to me. Next one, financial function of the legislature. Government is about spending a lot of money on various matters. Where does the money come from? So economic students know that where from the money comes from, through different types of revenue by the government, right or not? Revenue methods are there to collect revenue. Very different methods they're using. Basically taxes, cess. Okay, clear or not? GST, okay, different types of taxes, excess duty. So from the foreign countries, business, like various methods are there to create money there. Then the government want to spend it, right? So government raises resources through taxation, However, in a democracy, legislature controls taxation and the way in which money is used by the government. So it is the legislature that controlling the executive to take decision on taxation and spending money. Okay, if the government of India proposes to introduce any new tax, it has to get the approval of the Lok Sabha. So we know that about one particular tax. What is that? GST, very famous one in India, right or not? And it is the one that created a lot of problem for the entire economy too. Okay, goods and service tax. Goods and service tax. That's what GST. The supporters of the government says that it is the most finest taxation system in the world. Okay, but economists says that the people those who studied economics and the scientists, economic scientists, they says that this system that created a lot of problem for the economy, the GST system. Still, number of states are not received their share of tax. Okay, from the central government. There is no money with the central government to give that. So that's a problem today what we are facing. Okay, so but who decided this? The state central government decided this because that particular party that ruling the government, I mean, hold power in the government, they have more support. Okay, support in the legislature, so that they made it as a law there, and it created a problem. So if the government of India proposes to introduce any new tax, it has to get the approval of the Lok Sabha. The financial power of the parliament involve grant of resources to the government to implement its programs. The government has to give an account to the legislature about money it has spent and resources that it wishes to raise. The legislature also ensures that the government does not misspend or overspend. This is done through the budget and annual financial statement. Clear? So legislature always will control the executive related with the financial matters or money related affairs. Okay, so if any tax want to imposed by the government, first of all they want to get the approval of the legislature, and the legislature always will control the government to avoid overspending or misspending of money. Clear? Okay, so we are stopping today. We will continue tomorrow. So remember, every day the notes are uploaded. So read it properly. Okay, so the present chapter, what we are discussing in the classroom, also just want to read it again. Okay, everyone. Thank you very much. We will meet in the next class.